right. So I guess you are a journalist and more interested in writing and reporting. So what basically led you into that? Why did you make that decision in life? Because I mean, for some of us, while growing up, we wanted to be doctors and lawyers and all that. I don't think I ever heard of anyone saying they wanted to be um, a journalist from the onset. So was that a decision you made from early on?
Okay, I guess I would say it has always been a thing for me. Maybe not the writing and the reporting, but then I guess broadcasting. I guess I've always been very much fascinated as a kid with broadcasters I see on television. So sometimes I even mimic them in the mirror. And I just keep telling my friends that one day, like I can remember a particular day we were on the road going to school, and I was telling them one day I'll be like these people on TV, all of that. But then, you know how our Nigerian families and the stereotype around career and, all of that. So growing up, getting to a certain age, I think I began tilting towards law because my dad was a barrister. Um, in loving memory. So I started actually, thinking towards going into the law profession, being a barrister. Some days I'll go wear his robe, wear his wig, and all of that. But I knew my first love had always been communications, even though at the time I didn't know what it was called. I just knew news. I see people on TV. I just knew it was about news and stuff. So then getting to the level where I get to make the decision to study a particular course in the university, I altered and for law, and then I applied to the University of Nigeria in Nsukka, but unfortunately I couldn't get that. So my second trial, I tried to still go for law, but then my actually my second trial, I did want to go for communications, you know. But then I was still having doubts and stuff. And I can say family always plays a very key role in some of these decisions. Sometimes it's good to also have a family where everybody doesn't think alike, because it got to a point where I had to choose between a lot of decisions. And growing up and being smart, people think you should just do sciences, and they put you in sciences. And I go back to say, no, this is not what I want, family and all of that, talks and all. But then at the end of the day, I can say yes, I took the bold step, and I went for communications. My second sister was very supportive, and she said I should go for communications instead of going for law this time. So I did, and I got in. And then, I kept going in the broadcasting path. I wanted broadcasting, I wanted broadcasting. But along the line, I realized that my senior friends that had graduated before me were writing, and I could read their works, and I saw the impact it was having. I saw the change in policies. Their writing was, affecting. It was just it for me. I loved what I saw. I loved what I would call names: Linus Ona, Iroma Kelechi. These are my very close friends, and I started admiring writing. I said admire. I've always been writing as a young girl, like just scribble some things, but then not necessarily serious journalistic writing. So I just wanted that, and so I started tilting gradually towards writing, putting out my works out there. I tried broadcasting after university. I still do. I still have some affiliations with radio stations, but then I realized that at the end of the day, it wasn't necessarily my thing. I loved writing more than I loved talking on radio or on TV like I've always wanted. But then, yeah, I guess that was how I ended up doing this, and ended up writing more than I would actually want to be on air. So yeah, and then in the course of this and all of this, I realized, yes, this is actually where I want to be. This is actually where I want to make impact, because at the end of the day, if you ask me, it's in writing where you get to express yourself better, because the broadcast media in Nigeria is so much censored that there are some things you can't put out there. And when you do, it's either they come for you or they find your organization heavily. So the people in the broadcast media are actually not as free as people in the writing medium, because we get to actually write more and do more journalism, more crude journalism than you'd have or get in broadcasting. So I guess, yes, that's basically been it for me. Yeah.
I think aside from the fact that government censors radios and television stations, I think also writing, there's a way, on a personal note, there's a way that it improves your thinking, sort of helps you think and express yourself more. I don't know if you've experienced
that. Of course. Writing is creativity. It's not just what anybody can do. You get people see your writing and they're like, oh my God, I know I couldn't do this, I can't do this, but then you're doing it, it's amazing. So, and it also stems from a place of you get to read more, you get to research more, because if you don't, you can't write.
Yeah.
So I feel like you actually get more knowledgeable as a writer. Sometimes in broadcasting, you just go through as you're on air, you're going through whatever it is you want to go through, and you're reading it out to people. You don't really go back to, they do, I see most of them do the show prep and everything, but then how much of that do we still have in Nigerian media? The show prep, going through your programs. I see broadcasters these days, while they're on air, that's when they're doing first-hand reading and first-hand, dishing it out to the public. But then I guess for you to be able to write and put out a very concrete work, then you have to go through some sort of reading and researching. And at the end of the day, it makes you knowledgeable. So even when someone sits you down to ask you questions about what you've written, you can give background to the piece you've put out there. So I think, what you're saying is true.
But have you faced any warnings from the government,
I can't say I've been most threatened. There are journalists that are like, I don't know. I don't even know the right word to use for them right now. But then, they're doing so great, and then the government is always after them. We have the likes of Abba Jalinko. We have the likes of Shore.
Yeah.
I am not those people. But then, of course,
go on.
Yeah, but then of course, as journalists, it's a thing you get to face, even as a starter, because I can still say I'm still in the early stages of my career. So I guess attacks, but I know I've had cyber attacks. I would not say I've been most threatened, like I earlier stated. So, but then I'm still in the early stages of my career, and I can say I'm gearing up for anything that comes my way, because yes, I've already had some kind of experiences with cyberbullying. There are some stories you put out there. I guess one or two of my fact checks, I've got direct emails from people, saying stuff, threatening me, cursing and all of that. So but the very first time I experienced it wasn't funny, because these things play on your emotions.
Yeah.
So I guess as a journalist, you have to really be very hard on yourself and on the things that are thrown at you. So I started getting it a lot, and then I got used to it. I'm like, okay, whatever anybody says, I'm just going to grow a thick skin and not get bothered about it, because definitely it's what we do as journalists. Everybody's not going to be happy about it. And then I also remember during the NSAS protest, I was out on the field, and then I was recording. So I was just, recording some of the things going on. I just wanted to capture everything in video, because I was also sending it out live on sending it out on Facebook, sending it out on WhatsApp status to let people know what was going on here in Cross River State. As that particular day, one of the police guys was coming so fast, he started threatening me, he started saying stuff and all, and then people were like, wow, why is he chancing me like that? He said he was going to do this, was going to do that. So, and I know that a lot of other journalists in places like Lagos are even facing worse stuff. So I didn't take it as a big threat, but then I was scared, because anything could happen.
Yeah.
There could be a mishap, and there could be gunshots, and anything could happen. But then I'm grateful that at the end of the day, when we get to do all of the things we do, we still come out and we're standing tall, and we can still go out on the field and do more. So yes. That's it.
Here's the thing, that personally, I've been exposed to a lot of the Western media stuff, and at times I think that's a personal fault. I tend to look at the Nigerian whole journalism sphere through that lens. There's a lot of propaganda in the Western world, a lot of people that okay, they are not doing real journalism. This is clearly agenda driven, and so most times when I also look at the Nigerian space, subconsciously I'm looking at it and saying, is this not agenda driven? And so when I hear stories like yours now, I'm quite pleased that okay, there are actually people out there who are putting themselves there, knowing that those things will come even from the government. Because when you are doing real journalism, you have to know that you're going to be criticized, but from the people and even greater from the government, because especially investigative journalism, you're exposing stuff, say what you did with the tax stuff in Cross River and some of these other things. There's this other guy, I think his name is Fisayo. Yeah. So he actually started. He's an investigative journalist, and the stories that he actually publishes on his website, I ask myself, how does this guy
does he
sleep?
do that?
Yeah. I don't know. Are you preparing yourself for that actually?
Fisayo is like I'm looking for the right words right now. Fisayo has so much established himself in the investigative journalism sphere that he's become a force to reckon with. Even the government themselves know that no, this guy is giving them a tough time, and I'm very impressed by what he does. And as much as possible, I would want to meet Fisayo physically, to really get to also, there are some times when you see people in journalism, you just feel like I need to learn from this person. I need to drink of this person. I remember one of the programs he organized then. I was in the East at the time. I applied for it and then I got in. I was supposed to go for a training by him, but then I wasn't able to make it to Lagos at the time. And I really wished I was able to. So yeah, if you ask me if I'm gearing myself up for that right now, and I can't really say, because our work is one that takes you to different different fairs. Sometimes you don't even know what your work is going to turn into in the next minute. It's just like what I've been telling you the past few days. My schedule has been very busy because it's been one thing to the other and all. And I'm gonna in recent times start seeing myself reporting on budgeting and procurement and investigating into all of that. So, and at the end of the day, when you put out these stories, people are like, wow, how did you do that? So I feel like that's it. Sometimes you just get to get some kind of idea or something strikes you and like, no, this is not right. This is not right. Something needs to be done about this. And then you start pursuing the story. So I feel like that's basically what life of a journalist is, and that's what Fisayo has been doing over time. I feel Fisayo specifically looks out for the wrongs, social injustices, and he wants to dig deep into it. He wants to find out what exactly is going on, and he wants to hold the people responsible to account. So I feel, yes, it's a thing that every journalist should be ready and willing at all times to do if you are faced with a situation of injustice. So you should be able to ask questions. You should be able to say, okay, what should I do about this? What should I do about this story? There are some stories now I'm considering working on, yes. And these are stories that I came across or probably during conversations with people, and I hear about them and like, no, this is so wrong and something has to be done about this. So yes, I guess if at the end of the day I find myself doing stuff like that, I'm not going to be surprised, because it's a journalistic thing. It's something that, yes, if I find myself doing, I would gladly do it. And then I would say it again, if I can't have a training or one-on-one with Fisayo, then I guess it's going to even change a lot of things in my career, because it's contact and connection is another thing that really helps in building people in a career path. Yes. So I guess, yes.
I've had a couple of messages with him back and forth, and I've told him that sometime I would like to speak with him, but it's just that he's very busy and he's not been able to give me an exact date. But definitely I'll be able to